Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyhi wa mustafah wa ba'd. My dear viewers, I'd love to welcome you to another live edition of our program Ask Huda, and our phone numbers area code 002 then 023855 132. Alternatively, area code 002 then 010054693323. I'll be more than happy to receive your questions on my page as well, since we're having a live broadcast. The first question we have from Sister Lubna Tasneem, who says, I have a question regarding mirath or inheritance. My father died in 1983. He left a house which is sold now. My elder sister told my family members that she wants to give me her share as a gift, but she died before this property was sold. Does she still hold a share in my father's property? Can I claim it? Okay. First of all, in order to grant any person anything, especially if it is something major, there must be ishhad or a document. Ishhad, witnesses, or if it is registered in the city hall and the civil court, if it is written and notary public, so that people know this property has been transferred completely to another person. The person during his or her life have the right to do whatever as far as giving in a charity, granting, or giving hiba from their wealth. But if they die, they only possess the power of giving a gift or a wasiyah from their wealth within 1/3, not more than 1/3, provided the wasiyah or the gift should not be given to any of the heirs or the family members who already have a share in their inheritance. I mean, when a father dies and he says, give my eldest son 10% extra, that is revoked, that is invalid, and he will not honor this wasiyah, because the Prophet ﷺ said, La wasiyata liwarith. So if your sister during her life has already informed the rest of the family members, the rest of the heirs, yani your siblings, that my share, I already gave it to my sister. Whenever you guys sell the property, it's hers. In this case, her share has been transferred to you due to the witnesses of the shuhud. But if she said, I want to give, and she didn't say, I already gave, it's just sharing a wish, it will be very problematic, because the heirs may claim that she didn't. She said, I wanted to give it, but she didn't give it actually. Okay, so the text or the words which are used in the wasiyah or in the hiba or in granting any person whatever must be very clear, and expresses the person's desire that I want to give that person, or I already gave that person. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from the KSA, welcome to Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question regarding the Islamic finance based on diminishing musharaka. In my country, we have an Islamic bank. You know, if, for example, if I want to buy a flat, I cannot afford to pay the whole amount. For example, if the total cost of the amount that I have to, the cost price is, for example, 2 million. I pay, for example, 50% of that, and the bank based on this financing called diminishing musharaka, completes, the other 50%. And they asked me to pay, for example, on a fixed amount monthly for around like 5 years. At the end, the total, the extra amount is like 200,000. 1.2. Is this something? I don't know how exactly diminishing musharaka works, but I don't know if this 200,000 is going to be riba or something like that. I hope you understood my question.
I did, Brother Muhammad. Thank you so much. I shall, inshallah, explain this concept of finance and whether it's permissible or not in a little bit, inshallah. Just need to answer Abu Bakr's question, who says, can you explain how must we remember Allah so that we don't occur loss, as mentioned in the hadith that you mentioned in Gardens of the Pious, that was in yesterday's episode, that when the Prophet ﷺ said, ما من قوم يجلسون مجلسا لا يذكرون الله فيه إلا كان عليهم ترى. If any people happen to attend a meeting or sit somewhere, get together, and they do not remember Allah at all, this gathering or this assembly or meeting will be a cause of regret and loss for them. I said, in order to avoid that, when you begin the meeting, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, that is mentioned in the name of Allah. And when you conclude the meeting, say, Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. So this way, you have mentioned Allah's name and you remembered Him in the beginning, and you concluded the meeting by also praising Allah the Almighty and seeking His forgiveness. Jazakallah khairan. Muhammad from the KSA was inquiring about musharaka or partnership. Not everyone can afford to pay in cash for a house which costs $1 million or more. So what they do is they go to the banks, conventional banks, which happily they check their credit score, and if this is okay with them, they offer you to buy the house for you, to finance the house, because you are the buyer. So you buy the house and they pay, then you pay them with extra interest, of course. This mortgage and this form of finance is absolutely forbidden, because this is a loan which is based on interest or interest-based loan, riba. The other form, whether it's a bank or an individual, I like a house, but I cannot pay for it on cash. So the bank becomes a partner, or another person becomes a partner to me in this property or in this house. If I paid 50% and the person or the bank is paying the rest, which is another 50%, now I would like to purchase his, her, or their share afterward. So they say, well, I'd like to sell you my share, the bank or the person, he or she, for maybe their share was 500,000. Now they want to sell you their share for 600,000. Is it permissible? It is permissible, provided that you have already sorted out the price from the beginning on installment, fixed date to pay. The price is fixed. You don't say, you buy my share 500 in addition to interest. No. You calculate how much money you want to make, and you sell your share, which is the bank share, at any cost, as long as both of you agree to that. This form is permissible. There is another form where the bank becomes a partner, and in order for you to buy the property, and you don't have enough cash for it now, so you may end up renting the share of the bank or the share of the shareholder in the house until you're capable to pay for the house at today's rate. So with the mutual agreement between both of you, you can share, you can buy it, and that too is permissible. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum. All right. The following question is from Sarwath Afshan. Sarwath says, I want to know whether a woman can memorize Quran and learn tajweed and even during her periods. Well, if this is the purpose, learning or reciting for the purpose of learning and studying, or memorizing and revising, that is permissible even during the menses, provided you make certain that you don't hold the Quran with bare hands. Barakallahu fikum. Many questions, mashallah. Hadi Ba. What is the difference between sunset prayer and duha prayer? The prayers between Fajr and Dhuhr. The duha prayer or the forenoon prayer is a prayer. Its beginning time is 15 minutes past sunrise. 15 minutes past sunrise. And it's then extended until another 15 minutes before Dhuhr time or before the sun moves away from its meridian. That's called duha. Its numbers 2, 4, 6, or 8 rak'ahs. It's a sunnah, and there is a difference of opinion between the scholars whether it is a non-emphatic sunnah, mere recommended, or even emphatic sunnah. While the sunset prayer, it is called the Maghrib prayer because it is due once sunset. Before sunset or during sunset, there is no prayer. There is no voluntary prayers whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it is disliked to offer any voluntary prayers after praying Asr until complete sunset. Once there is complete sunset, it is already time for Maghrib, or what we call it the sunset prayer. It is the Faridah, which is the fourth prayer of the day. The second question is, I always make dua during sujood like the one you told us about, and I include other things in my mind, but those du'as are rarely answered. The Prophet ﷺ said, whenever a Muslim invokes Allah the Almighty with a good invocation, makes a good prayer, it is not a sin, nor is it incurring Allah's wrath on people without right, or severing the relationship between people, then Allah the Almighty will most certainly give him one of three things. One of three things. You said rarely answered. This is one of the three things. An immediate delivery. Say, oh Allah, grant me a child. Oh, she conceives. Oh, in a few months, mashallah, she gives birth. Alhamdulillah. That's an immediate response. Or the second form of answer in the dua is that you've been asking Allah the Almighty, oh Allah, make it easy for me to buy this car. I love to buy this car. Instead, Allah the Almighty doesn't want you to buy this car. But there was a major car collision that you are about to be involved in. You would lose a limb or you would lose your life. So Allah the Almighty utilized your dua in another area for your own virtue, for your own good, and He knows best. But I didn't know. You don't have to know. You don't have to know. Because of that, you find the Quran says, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. It may be that you dislike something while it is good for you. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ. And it may be that you love something while it is bad for you. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And Allah knows and you know not. What is the third form of answering the dua? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, most certainly when your dua, is a good prayer, it will be answered in one of three forms. We studied the first and the second. And the third is that Allah the Almighty will save your dua to benefit you on the greatest day, which is the day of judgment. When you would need it, you would need a hasana or a good deed. So this dua will pop up in order to assist you on that day. So Hadi, you got to understand that keep making dua. It is definitely answered, whether in the way you like it or in the way that Allah the Almighty knows it is best for you. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Abdul Rahman from the KSA. Abdul Rahman, go ahead. No problem. Try again, please. All right. Khalid Parker is asking, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh, can we pray Salah at home certain times, not oftenly, if we are busy or occupied in work. Okay. The opinion of the vast majority of the scholars that men who are near to the masjid can afford to attend the prayer in the masjid, they should attend the prayers in the masjid. If they pray at home, the prayer is valid, but they missed their word and they missed the obligation of attending the prayer in the masjid. But whether their prayer at home is accepted or not, yes, it is accepted and they have fulfilled the fard. So we do our best to attend the prayers in the masjid if you are nearby, if you hear the adhan. But occasionally it happens. You're tired up, some people are not feeling well, some people dinner is served and everybody's eating and I'm hungry, go ahead and eat. Then you can pray jama'ah afterward, even at home. Maher Osama, Maher says, is there any difference reported in any hadith which shows men pray differently than women? Nope. As a matter of fact, the hadith proves the opposite. The hadith proves that men and women pray alike. The Prophet ﷺ addressed the entire ummah by saying, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli." Based on this hadith, we filmed a program 10 years ago which is called the Prophet's Prayer. And in this program, I specifically mentioned that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ prayed so many prayers, so many days and years. His companions have observed his prayer and they transmitted that to us. And that's why when we pray as we have seen him praying. And there is not a single hadith or indication that showing that women should pray different than men, whether in the position of putting their hands on their chest or in bowing down completely or in sujood. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Abdul Rahman from the KSA, welcome to Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question. I have two questions. The first question is sometimes in fiqh of mu'alamat, we learn about slavery, slave women, rulings regarding holding slaves and expiation using slaves. I wanted to know is there any relevance to still learning about the rulings regarding slavery in our times? I was just wondering why do we still need to learn about the rulings regarding slave women or slave men in our day?
Yeah.
And is it a possibility that it may come back again? That's the first question. And the second question is, before the Mahdi comes, are there other Khalifas before the Mahdi who will be a Khalifa? Those are my two questions. Jazakallah khair.
You said, what is before the Mahdi? Abdul Rahman? Okay, thank you, Sister Abdul Rahman. There are a lot of things when we study them, not only in fiqh, also in, subhanallah, in chemistry. Okay, which we say, these are all theories. We don't have to study them. We don't have to know about them, even in surgery. But for the sake of learning, we study all of that in order to learn the evolution of operations and surgery, the evolution of chemical reactions, so you know the history. In fiqh and the principles of fiqh, there are not only about milkul yamin, but there are many forms of business transactions which basically do not exist anymore, at least currently, like bay'ul munabada. Have you heard that before? You're talking about the fiqh of mu'amalat, business transaction and dealings. Bay'ul munabada. You say to yourself, nobody does that anymore. Nobody throws like a stone and say, I'm going to buy whatever the stone falls upon. But guess what? There are some rare cases where, by analogy, they're similar to them. Okay, what about studying about the slaves? Slavery was there even in the United States until close to 50 years ago, right? Right. So it was recognized worldwide. And Islam, as we all know, is the only religion, and Quran is the only holy book which openly confronted this matter and started uprooting this problem by opening the doors for freedom of the slaves, by commanding the good treatment of the slaves like their own brothers and sisters, by also giving ransoms for expiating certain sins, violating fasting, having sexual relations while fasting during Ramadan, or zihar, or accidental killing, or breaking your oath, breaking your vow, freeing a slave neck, freeing a slave neck, freeing a slave neck. So open the door wide to free the slaves. Right? Then Allah the Almighty also opened the door for al-mukataba, if anyone wants to free himself or herself. So all of that was addressed not today, it was addressed 1430 plus years ago. Okay? So when we study the kafarat, there are ayat in the Quran speak about the ransoms and the kafarat. And what is the meaning of milkul yamin here? What are these ahkam? So we're studying history even though we don't live in the past anymore, in history and in chemistry and in whatever. In religion as well, we read the book and we read about the stories of the ancient stories. Why do we have to study about them? For the sake of learning. Is there any possibility? We don't have any possibility now, but now I know what is the meaning of zihar. What is the meaning of فكفارته إطعام عشرة مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم أو كسوتهم أو تحرير رقبة. Surah Al-Ma'idah. What is تحرير رقبة? Freeing a neck or freeing a slave. What does it mean? So are you going to edit the Quran and eliminate those verses and say, well, we don't have it anymore, so we don't have to talk about it? No. We will continue to talk about it and talk about many other things, even if they do not exist anymore. The Qibla has been changed. When? The Qibla has been changed 1437 years ago. But we still learn about that event and the circumstances of changing the Qibla and the objections of the Jews and Bani Israel to changing the Qibla and all of that for the sake of learning. Thank you, Sister Abdurrahman. Your second question, I didn't quite get the question. You said Khalifa and Mahdi. But the hadith concerning Al-Mahdi are many, many. Perhaps this hadith will help you. That the Prophet ﷺ said Al-Mahdi will be from the offspring of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, whose name will be Muhammad and whose father's name will be Abdullah. So his name will consign Prophet Muhammad's name and his father's name will coincide Prophet Muhammad's father's name. And he said, يُصْلِحُهُ اللَّهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ, which means Al-Mahdi. So his name is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And Al-Mahdi is a title based on the fact that Allah will rightly guide him and fix him and make him upright overnight. يُصْلِحُهُ اللَّهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ, overnight. Maybe he will be a very ordinary person, but Allah will prepare him for this mission. The Muslim rulers during this time will fight against him and will charge armies to fight against him. This is what the ahadith are talking about. And then he would utterly defeat them all. And he will march towards Asham. And there Isa a.s. would descend. And they will hear about the emergence of the false Messiah. And they will both lead the Muslim army to chase the false Messiah. Bottom line is, once any of these major signs emerge, the rest of the signs will fall one after another, like the beads, falling from a broken line of a necklace. They fall one after another swiftly. May Allah protect us against the fitan and the trials. Ahlul Sunnah, the mainstream Muslims, we recognize Al-Mahdi from the ahadith because there are sound ahadith, but we don't call him Al-Mahdi Al-Muntazar. You know that there are some sects and some people, they say Muntazar. They even name their kids Muntazar. Muntadhar means awaiting. Like everything is suspended, we're just waiting for him. We don't pray Jum'ah, we don't observe jihad, we don't defend ourselves, we don't defend the weak and oppressed. We're just waiting for Al-Mahdi to pop up so that we can follow him. Mainstream Muslims do not believe in that whatsoever. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do, and if Al-Mahdi emerges at any time, if you're there, alhamdulillah, you join him, hopefully. And if he doesn't emerge, at least you did your part during this life. May Allah keep us all steadfast on His straight path. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Now that we know more about da'wah, what would you say are the characteristics of a da'i?
Sincerity.
Sincerity. Yes?
Good relation with Allah.
Good relation with Allah. Okay.
Patience.
Yes, sir?
Good manners.
Good manners. And there is much more to that. Join us in our program, the Da'wah Workshop, by your brother Dr. Rayyan Fawzi Arab, so that we could talk more about Da'wah exclusively on Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. We have many questions. The first is from Muhammad Iqbal, who says, Assalamu alaikum Shaykh, I'd like to know that what is the time for the evening adhkar, and is it better to say it after Maghrib or after Asr? First of all, the morning and the evening adhkar have specific times because the ahadith, what the Prophet ﷺ says, Man qala hina yumsi, man qala hina yusbih, whoever says in the morning, whoever says in the evening. So they have prescribed times. But what is the time exactly? You know, I'm going to present to you the more right view, but there are different opinions. Like for the morning adhkar, from Fajr until sunrise, that is the ideal time. But if you didn't get to do it, then you can make it still. You can still make it up after sunrise. For the evening, after Asr and until sunset, if you fail to do during this time, after Maghrib, after Isha, all the way until 1/3 of the night. The reason, because if you examine the Quran, Surah Qaf, for instance, ayah number 39, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ قَبْلَ طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ وَقَبْلَ الْغُرُوبِ. سَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. Glorify the praise of your Lord قبل طلوع الشمس, before sunrise, وقبل الغروب, and before sunset. So the Quran recommends making adhkar during these times. Then in Surah Ghafir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ بِالْعَشِيِّ وَالْإِبْكَارِ. Al-Ashi is the evening after Asr and until sunset. Al-Ibkar is the morning until sunrise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. How are you?
I'm doing fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Yes, Sheikh, I want to ask today, I have some question while I am working on duty. One of my colleagues traveled from Pakistan to our establishment to work for some project. So he asked me, I asked him, you can combine the prayers for you are in the travelers. So he told me, yes, I can pray for 15 days. If I keep Nia for 15 days prior staying in UAE. So I surprised that because that is normally for 3 days for travelers. can combine the prayers from Luhar and Asr and Maghrib and Isha. So I want to clarify this issue. Is it 15 days for any travelers or only for 3 days?
Okay. Thank you, Muhammad from United Arab Emirates. For a traveler, the opinion of the vast majority of the scholars, if you're traveling, you have the right to shorten your prayers for up to 4 days. If you decide to stay more than 4 days, and there is an opinion 3 days, if you decide to stay beyond 4 days, then from day one you pray full, even though you're staying at the hotel or somebody's house. But if you know that you're not certain, you're not sure, my job, my business meetings may finish in 3 days and 5 days and 9 days, I'm not sure. So you continue to shorten the prayer because you have not already made up your mind how many days will you stay there. As far as combining the prayers, a person who is at ease, like visiting family members and he's staying at home all the time, you don't have to combine the prayers. As a matter of fact, it is better not to do it. But a person who's jumping from one place to another, he's in Sharjah, he's going to Ajman, he's going to Abu Dhabi, because he said that he's having a meeting in United Arab Emirates. So go ahead and combine the prayers, Dhuhr and Asr together at the time of either one of them. Maghrib and Isha together at the time of either one of them. Barakallahu feek, Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates. With regards to the adhkar, I would like to remind you, brothers and sisters, if you didn't have a chance to say your adhkar in the morning and until it is past sunrise or 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. until noon, go ahead and continue, make up your adhkar and recite it. The dhikr is like the life to the soul. And the evening likewise, if you didn't get to do it before sunset, you can make it after Maghrib or even after Isha. There are certain other adhkar for the evening adhkar or the nighttime adhkar, such as reciting Ayat al-Kursi and reciting the last 2 verses of Surah al-Baqarah and reciting Surah Tabarak al-Mulk. Okay. Ajijul Hakim, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Can you please explain about ablution after shower? Should we take ablution separately after a mandatory shower or the normal shower? Very good question. You see, the question is very specific. When the questioner explained mandatory shower or optional shower, what difference does it make? If it is mandatory, this is to lift the major impurity after having sex, after experiencing wet dreams, after finishing the menses. So that's called ghusl, in order to lift the major impurity. In this case, performing ghusl is sufficient because performing ghusl lifts the major impurity and it lifts already the minor impurities. So you don't have to make an independent wudu. It was already included in the ghusl. But if you're taking shower for refreshment, it is hot because for whatever reason, coming back from work, then you gotta make independent wudu, whether before or after, it doesn't matter. As long as, sometimes when the person is taking a shower, accidentally he or she may end up touching their privates. According to one very respected opinion, it invalidates the wudu, touching one's private part with bare hands. So that's why if you make wudu while in the bathtub, while taking a shower, make sure that your hands will not come in touch with your private. May Allah accept from all of us. Let's see. Yeah, Brother Zafar Salim. Brother Zafar from Dallas, Texas. He's asking, there are different ways to pray Salatul Witr. Can you please reflect on most common and preferred ways? Absolutely. Salatul Witr, brothers and sisters, is one of the greatest acts of worship. It is enough to know that the Prophet ﷺ said, indeed Allah is witr and He loves the witr. And he highly recommended that we should offer the witr. It is, according to the vast majority of the Muslim scholars, it is an emphatic sunnah. Highly recommended to pray witr. To the point that Imam Abu Hanifa considers the witr wajib. It is not wajib though, because the wajib is the 5 daily prayers. Okay, it's not mandatory, but it is highly recommended. And the Prophet ﷺ put a lot of emphasis on that. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, إن الله قد أمدكم بصلاة وهي الوتر جعله الله لكم فيما بين صلاة العشاء إلى أن يطلع الفجر. So the timing for the witr prayer is after Isha and until Fajr prayer. And the Prophet ﷺ prayed witr in many different ways in order to make it easy for us. He said in one hadith, صلاة الليل مثنى مثنى, you pray at night 2 by 2. فإن خفت أن يطلع الصبح فأوتر ولو بواحدة. But if you are coming close to dawn or Fajr time, then pray witr, even if it is only 1 rak'ah. So we understand from that, the least number of rak'ahs for witr is 1 rak'ah. You see, like if you're traveling, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam used not to skip 2 things of the sunnah even if he's traveling. The 2 rak'ahs before Fajr and the witr prayer. Does it mean that I can pray witr only 1 rak'ah? Yes, this is the least number of rak'ahs. It is preferred to precede it with maybe the 2 rak'ahs the sunnah of Isha, or if you're traveling, you pray shafa 2 rak'ahs and witr 1 rak'ah, or you pray the witr together 3 rak'ahs. So the Prophet ﷺ happened to pray the witr 3 rak'ahs all together with 1 tashahud and taslim by the end. The Prophet ﷺ, according to the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, used to pray 11 rak'ahs 2 by 2, and by the end will pray 1 rak'ah, which means he would pray 2 rak'ahs, tashahud and taslim, then 1 rak'ah by itself. So that's another form. According to the Hanafi madhab, there is a 3rd form, which by praying witr exactly similar to Maghrib. But in fact, there is a hadith in which Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, forbade likening witr to the Maghrib prayer. So you choose any way to pray witr. 2 rak'ahs, tashahud and taslim, then 1 rak'ah, cool. Or 3 rak'ahs all together, or 5 rak'ahs all together, or 7 rak'ahs all together with 1 tashahud and taslim by the end. Or 2 by 2, 2 by 2, and by the end you pray only 1 rak'ah. Or you pray 9 rak'ahs all together, but in the case of 9 rak'ahs, you sit for tashahud on the 8th rak'ah, and then another tashahud on the 9th rak'ah, then you make taslim. You see, very simple. And also the Prophet ﷺ used to make dua ul-qunut in the witr prayer. And it is more recommended to make it after rising up from ruku', and it is recommended to raise your hands in the witr qunut of the witr prayer and to make it short and brief. Some people, they sound like they're singing a song, especially in Ramadan and Taraweeh, because people are very impressed singing a song, chanting an nasheed in the witr prayer. Half hour, 45 minutes, all of that is not recommended and is not from the Sunnah. Barakallahu fikum. Asad Nasrullah, MashaAllah, what a name. Traveler's Salah ruling if one starts traveling at a time of Dhuhr or any other Salah, please explain. You see, for any traveler, when do you get to shorten the prayer? Well, I'm traveling already a travel distance. I am maybe in Houston, Texas, and I live in Houston, Texas, and now I'm flying to Mecca for Umrah. When do I start shortening the prayer? Once you reach the airport, which is outside the city limit, go ahead and pray qasr. It's not even 83 kilometers yet, it doesn't matter. Once you go outside the city limit, you can shorten the prayer. Even 1 mile, you can shorten the prayer. You know, we're boarding the plane. I don't have time to pray dhuhr because, subhanallah, we're boarding the plane exactly at the adhan time. Don't worry about it. Allah gave you a lot of ease. Board the plane. Then what? They won't allow me to stand up and face the Qibla and do my prayers. Now you're praying dhuhr, 2 rak'ahs, and asr, 2 rak'ahs. Combine the 2 prayers together, correct? When is your next stop? Or it will be at 4 p.m., maybe in Germany, maybe in Paris or in Cairo, Egypt, you don't have to worry about praying Dhuhr and Asr in the plane. When you land, you pray Dhuhr and Asr together, 2 rakahs each, because you still have some time before sunset. Oh, no, it's a direct flight to Jeddah and it will take me, I will land already in the evening. No problem. In your seat, Allahu Akbar, and pray Dhuhr, 2 rakahs. Then call Iqamah within yourself and pray Asr, 2 rakahs. Then when you land, pray Maghrib and Isha. Sheikh, it's 17 hours and I may not make it before Fajr. Then in the plane again, pray Maghrib and Isha combined together. Lot of ease. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Indeed, Allah does not impose any commandment on any person beyond their capacity. صل قائما فإن لم تستطع فقاعدا فإن لم تستطع فعلى جنب. The Prophet ﷺ said to his companion, when you pray, you gotta stand up facing the Qibla for the farther prayer. If you can't, sit down. And if it is too much of a burden to sit down because of a reason or another, maybe sickness, or you're not able to sit down, you're confined in one place, you cannot face the Qibla, then pray in whichever position you are in. In the ICU, you don't choose your bed to be facing the Qibla. You're lying down. So pray in whichever position that you can. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. Wherever you're facing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, of course, in case that you're not able to face the Qibla. You're not able to stand up in the Fard prayer. I think we can take one more question. Amdi Asif Akhtar Zaman. Asif Akhtar Zaman is asking, can a man take his wife's money for Hajj? Or can a sister provide the money for her brother? Fact number 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. According to this ayah, Hajj is mandated upon Muslims provided you can afford it. You have the means. You don't have the means, you're exempt. You don't have to perform Hajj. Nor do you have to borrow money. Oh, no, and it's not borrowing, Sheikh. This is like a surplus. My sister said, go for Hajj. I want to sponsor your Hajj. Or any person. Even if I don't know the person said, Sheikh, I want to sponsor you to go for Hajj. I will take it. I will pick up the offer. And will that do my Hajj even if later on I got some money and yes, Hajjatul Islam, and it is done. You fulfill the 5th pillar. Your sister, your wife. But asking people or taking a loan to go for Hajj, you don't have to. You're not required, you're not obliged, because it is conditioned with al-istita'a or affordability. May Allah the Almighty make it easy for all of us to visit the Kaaba, perform many Umrahs and perform Hajj, pray in the prophetic masjid and in al-Masjid al-Haram, and accept our du'as. I love you all, my dear brothers and sisters, for the sake of Allah. By that we've come to the end of today's edition of your program. Ask Huda. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest.